One of the most popular MBA or interview questions is, tell me about the most embarrassing moment of your life. Now this is definitely a startle question. However, there are frameworks by which you can answer these questions in a very smart manner. Let me give you one such framework which is called B.E.S.T. B-E-S-T, the best art of storytelling. Always narrate an incident, an anecdote which follows the 4 principles of B.E.S.T. B for make it believable, which means make it recent. Make it something which is very evident that you would have definitely had experienced. Don't talk about something grand, and of course never fabricate or prevaricate. 2, which is E, talks about make it emotional. In these kind of questions, it's very important to somehow build a connect with the interviewer through building emotions. Emotions can be generated through talking about a story where you suffered a failure, where you suffered pain, where you struggled a lot. So emotions come by talking about your experiences while you were undergoing that embarrassing moment. The third is S, which talks about make it seeable, make it visualizable. Now, how do you do that? You add proper nouns or common nouns which describe the emotions, feelings, situation, color, temperature, something which makes that moment very descriptive. So for example, if your instance required you to be somehow toppling around, turning topsy-turvy in a boat in the river, then you may want to add the river was freezing cold. If on the other hand you fell down on the stage hit me really hard and my wound was literally feeling as if somebody had poured acid. That was the kind of burning feeling. So this is how you make the instance seeable. And making it seeable makes it look more trustworthy. And finally, the fourth part is T. How did that instance become a fulcrum around which you jumped and turned around and started to become a better professional? So always follow the B.E.S.T framework to make very passionate stories. Let's give you a small demonstration, and the question goes, tell me about the most embarrassing moment of your life. And here goes the answer. Sure, sir. Happy to answer that. Sir, this instance happened about a year and a half back when I had gone with my family for a boat trip. Now near our house, there's a very famous lake and it's really frequented by tourists, and it's been some time. So I decided to go there with my family. Now as we were in the boat ride and we were enjoying it, there were some very excited tourists, a group of young boys who were really going berserk. And even though the boatman was cautioning them that the tide is a bit on the stronger side, winds are also blowing, so stay in the center of the boat, the excited group started going towards the left side because the view was better. And as a result, the boat was very dangerously tilting to one end. And the boatman was shouting again and again, but to no avail. Now, since these boys were more or less my age, I thought that I also must intervene, and with a very noble intention, I wanted to reach out to them and tell them to stop doing this. But I did a very big faux pas, a very embarrassing gesture, that instead of shouting it out to them, I just moved towards them. And my steps moved to be the last nail in the coffin because the boat actually turned turtle. And the boatman was absolutely left aghast. Everybody was shocked as we saw how the boat just turned turtle, and we were all right there in that very freezing lake. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, the water wasn't that deep and the situation wasn't precarious at all. But still, the boatman and the entire crew and the people were really upset about my gesture. And I really ended up cutting a sorry figure because even with noble intentions, it was my few steps which led to this accident having occurred. And then later on, of course, my parents also chided me and everybody rebuked me, and I was truly embarrassed. Now, as I look back at that incident, it taught me 3 important things. Number 1, quite often, even if we have noble thoughts, we must very calmly think as to what is the right action to do. Number 2, when we have decided the action, we must decide the best mechanism. Sometimes probably approaching the people may be a good idea. Other times you may want to write to them, talk to them, and then choose your method, how you're going to go ahead and then approach them. And finally, the third biggest lesson is that a lot of time, instinctive gestures which are done at the spur of the moment as a response to instincts can be really dangerous. So leveraging from those embarrassing moments and my learnings, I have tried to be a more mature and sagacious leader and who always tries to look before one leaps. So I'm trying to implement those principles, and I'm very happy to tell you that I've used them very successfully at my college life, where I have donned up various leadership positions and done very successful performances as team leader and group leader at various forums. And I assure you, sir, were I to be conferred the great privilege of being selected today, I leave no stone unturned to use this sagacious approach to be a dedicated contributor. So these are my thoughts, sir. I hope it satisfies your query. So this is one illustration of how you use a story which is believable, emotional, seeable, and talks about how you transformed. So use the B.E.S.T framework and make great stories and get cleared at all your interview and VAT rounds. This is Gagan Singh signing off for the day. May the power of winning it persona ever be with you.